My name is Ed Dennehy. I'm the Director of Safety Training for Fishing Partnership Support Services, and we're a nonprofit here in Massachusetts, and we provide no-cost safety training for commercial fishermen. And we're out here at the SMAST facility in New Bedford today, providing a 6-module training for fishermen. We have 19 fishermen here today going through the training, and we cover 6 different topics: firefighting, survival suits, life raft and flares, damage control, man overboard, and first aid. And each fisherman spends an hour in each one of those 6 modules, and by the end of the day they've gone through the whole program. So do you make a mayday call when you have a fire on board? Absolutely. Fire's probably, that's the absolute worst emergency when you're at sea, is a fire. So the recommendation is that if there's a fire, you make the call. You know, you guys are scrambling, they're getting the fire extinguishers, they're going to put the fire out, but make the call, because fires can get out of hand just like that, and something small that's in the galley, you think you got it under control, all of a sudden gets out of control and things are out of hand really, really quick. So make the call. Flooding situation, how about that? Do you make the call there? Yeah, make the call. So the Coast Guard would much prefer you to make a call and then call later and say, hey, I've got it under control, we put the fire out, or I got the flooding under control, I don't need any help. They would much rather that than you're waiting until things are out of control and then you're making the call then for the very first time. So you don't want to do it that way. How about for a man overboard situation? When do you make the call there? Okay, this is a little bit different, okay? You want all of your efforts going to trying to get that guy back on board. So, you know, the guy goes over, you see the guy, you're maneuvering around, you're getting everything ready, you got him in sight, and you're working to get him back. We started this program about 12 years ago here in New Bedford, and since then we've trained over 3,000 fishermen here in New England. Well, the fishermen, that's the one most dangerous occupation in the country, and these guys are subject to a variety of different emergencies at sea, and it's really important that they know how to address those emergencies. So we teach them about the safety equipment that they're required to have on board, and then we teach them how to use that equipment and also how to prevent those emergencies from happening in the first place. Say it, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is the fishing vessel General Sherman, fishing vessel General Sherman, fishing vessel General Sherman. Then pause, all right, and wait for the Coast Guard. So that'll be fishing vessel General Sherman, this is the U.S. Coast Guard, what's your problem, over? And then you can, Mayday, 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 this is the fishing vessel General Sherman. I'm in position, 42.2 north, 71.35 west. We've got 7 people on board, and we struck a submerged object, and we're taking on water. And we teach them how to save their life, and we have some great examples of that actually happening. One just within the last 2 weeks, actually, where we were training up in Newburyport, Mass. The very next day after training, a lobsterman and his son were out, and the son got knocked overboard. He wore a PFD only because we were teaching that the day before, and we were teaching how to recover somebody, and his father was able to get him back on board. And we got a nice thank you email from him saying, gee, if it wasn't for the training, he'd probably not have survived.
We're going to talk about fires and firefighting on board. Has anyone ever had a fire on board? Lucky. All right. So first thing is, in order to start a fire, you need 3 parts. That's what's known as a fire triangle. Do you guys know what those 3 parts are that make up a fire triangle? Fuel, oxygen, heat. Heat. Fuel, oxygen, and heat. So how do you extinguish a fire? You got to remove one of those out. What's your name? Juan. All right. So you got to remove one of those 3 sides. We're going to extinguish a fire in this pan. We're going to put fuel in here, and we're going to put it out using CO2. So we're going to suppress the oxygen in that fire, and that's how we're going to put it out. We're going to remove the oxygen. In something like a dry chem extinguisher, you're actually going to suppress the fuels. If I poured gas in here, lit it with a flare, and then extinguished that with a dry chem extinguisher, we can sit here with all the fuel and all the flares we want. We won't be able to reignite it. A yellowish film will form on top of the water. That's ideal, say, in your bilge. Whereas a CO2 extinguisher is going to push that fire elsewhere. There are 3 classes of fires. Anyone familiar with the 3 classes of fire we'll find on a boat?
Electrical, chemical, grease.
So the 3 classes of fire are actually class A, B, and C is how they're categorized. A class A type fire would be something that produces an ash. So it's wood, it's hay, it's paper. So that's how you remember it. It produces an ash. What about a class B fire? Anybody? So class B fire is combustibles. It's petroleum based. It's found in a barrel. It goes boom. That would be a class B fire. And now a class C fire, electrical. And the way to remember that is it's conductive or conduit with the C. Those are our 3 classes of fire. Each extinguisher is established to put out certain types. Now, can anyone tell me what types of fires this CO2 extinguisher can put out? B and C. So it's always going to have it on the label of your extinguishers. Sometimes it's real easy to tell. On your dry chem, it's A, B, and C. You can extinguish any type of fire in here. Dry chem extinguisher, what could be a few issues with this type of agent though? So this dry chem is caustic. It's non-harmful to humans, but it will destroy electronics, controls. It's a caustic material, but we're not worried about that. We can replace our electronics. We can replace our boat. We can't replace a crew. We can't replace Mason. I can't replace Ed. So it doesn't matter if this, don't let anything come in your way of fighting that fire. But it's just something to keep in mind. So when we get to fighting the fire, we're going to go in teams of 2. You'll pair up. Each person will have an extinguisher ready. We'll pull the pins out. And we want to see you maintain contact. So I'm going to hang on to Ed. We're going to come in nice and low, and he's going to attack that fire at the base and work his way around it. Now, the reason you team up and you go in the buddy system is while Ed's fighting the fire, he can inhale a lot of smoke, he can inhale chemicals, he can pass out from that. I maintain contact in case he does. I can pull him out of there. Or Ed's fighting the fire. He's fixed on fighting that fire. It's his boat. He does not want to lose it. He's going. He's not realizing the fire's actually gaining on him because he's so locked in. So as the backup, it's my responsibility to realize Ed's in danger. It's time to pull him out of there and give up on that. We're more important. We're going to abandon ship. If Ed's extinguisher runs out, what we'll do is we'll swap now. He'll grab a hold of me and I'll attack that. I've already got my pin out and I'm ready to go. So now when I come up, I'm not worried about pulling the pin and fiddling with anything.
Start squeezing it when you're about a foot or 2 feet away from it. So you start beating it down. So then when you get up here, you've already beaten it down a little bit.
I would like our fishing families to know that I can assist them in looking for affordable health care. And one of the benefits of shopping through the connector, knowing that in our industry our incomes are variable, is that if you have a loss of income, you're still going to maintain your coverage. Your premiums are more likely to go down, which makes it affordable. The best part is you're not going to lose coverage if a disaster happens in life. That's one of the benefits of going through the connector. And I want our families to know that I'm there to shop with them, to help them find that affordable plan, to help them understand what benefits they're receiving. I want to encourage them to use health insurance once they've obtained it. So I'm here to do, from the beginning, make sure you're eligible to enroll, show you how to enroll, get you enrolled, and not just finish there. I want to help you find the health care that you need, and I want to see you use it.
Next thing we're going to go over are parachute flares. And the first thing I'm going to show you is the 12 gauge pistol. Now, I say it's junk because unless you're looking at this, we actually have about an 85% failure rate with these things. So you got to load it. Again, you'll treat this like a firearm because it looks like a firearm, right? We want to hold all of these flares at a 65 to 85 degree angle. We want to point them downwind or across the wind, never straight up and never into the wind. So as I fire, I'm going to turn my head, and there it goes. Right into the sun. Pretty bright, right? Last what? Maybe 15 seconds, 10, 15 seconds.
Especially with the wind.
Yep, and with the wind. How far up in the air you guys think that went? A couple hundred feet, right? This one will go up 1,000 feet plus. Be very careful with these. I'm going to show you guys what comes out of this, just so you know. And you can make your own decisions, you know. I like people to decide things for themselves. Rescue, or I hope I get rescue. The big difference in these flares. So to use these, we have to pop it open. That releases the trigger mechanism. Now you'll read some literature will tell you to use the palm of your hand against this. Don't, use your thumb. Your palm of your hand is very soft, especially if you're in a survival suit. You don't want to take it off to use this. Okay, to use this again, 65 to 85 degree angle, hold it downwind or across the wind, never straight up and never into the wind. Again, I'm going to turn my face because emergency situation, you're not going to have safety glasses. These things are very unpredictable, so hang on. There was a dragger fishing down off the Carolinas. They were fluking. There was a hurricane coming off the coast at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was getting really rough. They were making their last tow as they were hauling back because these flares are, it's very important to have the proper flares because especially the draggers are fishing short-handed. This boat was three-handed. They're hauling back. The captain's running the winches. He just happened to look up and he saw a flare. They finished hauling back. He went on, checked the radar. There was a target 6 miles away. They went over. There was a boat out in New Jersey just come off the rail, completely dead in the water. The guys were smart. They let a parachute flare off. But their mistake was they should have turned on their EPIRB also. But they took them in a tow, called the Coast Guard picked them up. But that very easily could have been one of these stories of a boat that went out fishing and was never heard from again. And they were rescued because of this flare. If you guys have to make a Mayday call, I don't know if they told you this when they did the Mayday on the radio before, let one of these go and then hang on to the rest of your flares until there's someone there to actually see them. Exactly, because there was a sailboat that sailed out of Newport. First day out they sank. The first 8 hours they used all their flares, and they spent the next 29 days in that life raft until they were rescued. Grab a smoke flare, and you guys can ignite them and just set them on the railing. So if everybody would grab a handheld flare here, the only thing I ask is you let them burn all the way down.
If you haven't taken this course, then you need to sign up. This is our last one for this calendar year. We'll start it up again in the spring, in March, and we'll do another one here in New Bedford and other places around the state. And if they go on our website, which is fishingpartnership.org, we publish our safety training schedules, and they can actually register online or call one of our navigators and register with them. Again, it's no cost to the fishermen.